What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, in honor of spooky season, we are talking all about staying on track during Halloween. Halloween is just around the corner, and I know a lot of you guys love candy. I am indeed a chocolate whore. I love my chocolate, so I will be enjoying some of that this Halloween, along with sticking and staying on the plan. Guys, remember that just because you are on a health and fitness journey does not mean we should just restrict everything in the world. We shouldn't have any fun on holidays, or we shouldn't have any candy around Halloween. If you guys are watching this video or follow me on any platform, you know that I make health and fitness a lifestyle, and I also coach that. I preach that to my clients as well. I don't care if you have a wedding in November. You're just trying to hold yourself together until the new year so you can lose some more pounds. It doesn't matter what your goal is. I coach others as if this is your whole entire lifestyle. If you're planning to incorporate health and fitness into your lifestyle long term, and this video is not going to be relevant for just Halloween, it's also going to help you stay on track with other holidays as well. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to pop up a little presentation and chat a little bit about staying on track during Halloween, or in general, any holiday. All right, guys, let's get right into it. So, this is navigating Halloween with intention and ownership. This also has to do with any other holiday season that you're in. This is always a kind of good checklist, a good presentation to look back on if you guys are struggling with knowing what to do, making that lifestyle approach, right? You have goals that you want to get to, but you also want to enjoy a holiday, right? You also want to enjoy the fun foods. And that's what this is all about, making it a lifestyle. It's not about restricting around the holidays. It's about including things that we love, but how can we also show up with intention, ownership, and still achieving our goals? So, first and foremost, mindset check in. It's so important to realize that your thoughts drive your choices. So, what's in your brain, what you keep telling yourself, is probably the reason why you're either stuck, you fall into the all or nothing mindset, you'll lead to emotional eating, you're in that scarcity mindset. Whatever is the majority of your mind and what you're telling yourself, it will show through in your daily actions in your daily life. So, first and foremost, an example of this can be, you might say, oh, just this night I'll be fine, and then I'll get right back to it, right? I'll get right back to it after Halloween. This is kind of that scarcity mindset. You guys usually say, oh, I deserve this piece of candy because I worked out, or I deserve to have this donut because I didn't eat that much today, right? This can kind of lead to that emotional eating standpoint of things. And then a big one I hear is, I already blew it. I already had a cookie, so therefore I'm going to have the whole thing, right? And that's that all or nothing mindset loop. And that does happen a ton. So, in order to kind of reframe our thoughts, we got to make sure that we're saying more things like, okay, I can include this and stay aligned. You guys don't need to restrict certain foods. You do not have to cut out certain food groups. You can have it, and it's important to remind yourself that you are allowed to do whatever you want. You can have whatever food you want. So allowing yourself to have it, and also making sure you include that in your mindset, that you can include it and still stay aligned, is important. Next is going to be, I'm not starting over, I'm just continuing. So nobody needs to start over. Nobody needs to restart things on Monday, restart things over the weekend. Like, there is no falling off, starting over. Like, you're just continuing your journey, and it's important to remember that. And then lastly, this treat is not a setback. It's a choice I'm owning. It's really important to show up with ownership in everything that you guys do, because as soon as you just let a treat take over your life, or maybe you had too many pieces of pizza and that's like taking over your life, you are letting that food have control over your life. And that is not what we want. We want to make sure that every single thing that we do, we think through it, we have intention. And if you want the piece of pizza, if you want the cookie, whatever you're having, if you are going to choose to have that, own that. Say, I am choosing to have this. Is it important to shift to make in your brain? Because again, if we're just saying, oh, that piece of candy got the best of me, it's like you are giving control over to the piece of candy. And that is not what we want. So you owning everything that you do. Okay. Mindset is huge. I would come back to this, especially if you're struggling within the season. Next is going to be clarify your season strategy. So, what's the season game plan, right? Some of you guys might be in a fat loss phase. Some of you guys might be in a muscle building phase. Some of you guys just want to maintain overall health. Maybe you have a performance goal. It's about clarifying like what season you're in, right? That's kind of an important decision to make before you really go into a game plan. So decide what phase you're in. Are you in a fat loss phase? Are you gaining muscle? What are you doing? And then you need to ask yourself, are you choosing tight tracking, intentional flexibility, or non-tracking alignment this week? So what are you guys doing? Like, are you tracking your macronutrients? Are you just doing portion sizes? Like, what is the plan here? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of my clients who might want to lose 10 pounds in, let's say, 2 months, right? That is doable, but that's going to take extreme discipline, and that's going to take tracking your nutrition and making sure that you're in that calorie deficit. And again, you can still do that over the course of Halloween and still enjoy candy, but I would make sure that you're tracking. Maybe you have more of a loose goal. You want to lose 10 pounds in 6 months, and you're like, I don't really care that much. I just kind of want to lose it, right? In that case, it's like, okay, maybe over the season, we're not so much focused on tracking super duper intensely, but we are paying attention to like what we're eating. We don't just want to do whatever we want without like some kind of intention to it, right? So again, it's deciding what phase you're in, what kind of goal you have, and then also deciding what kind of tracking metric are you doing? Are you doing portion control? Are you doing tracking macros? What are you doing? And then decide before the holiday, what's allowed, what's off limits, what's worth it. I know for me, I don't really like fruity candy that much. So it's not really worth it. It's not like it's off limits, but I just don't want it. So I'm not going to choose to have that inside my diet when it's just not really worth it, right? Maybe I'm obsessed with Reese's cups. Maybe I'm obsessed. I love them so much. Maybe it's allowed, but I'm only allowed to have 2 pieces. Okay. So it's kind of, first of all, again, to clarify, make sure you know what phase you're in. To make sure you know what kind of metrics you're doing. Are you tracking? Are you intuitive eating? What are you doing? And then decide before the holiday what's allowed, what's off limits, and then what's worth it to you. The candy is not the problem. Candy does not have morals. You do. So it's important to make sure that you guys understand. Again, this is kind of reframing how you think, that candy is not the issue. If you have it in your house and you're just blaming the candy, do not do that, because the candy, it's not its fault, right? It's honest to goodness our fault for maybe over consuming it, having a little too much of it, or whatever the case is. We have full control. So remember that. What causes most spirals is, again, mindless snacking. So I would create a rule that serves you best. Maybe you have 3 of your favorite candy, or maybe you portion out the chips inside the bowl, whatever that is. Okay. So mindless snacking can really get the best of most people. So make sure you're portioning things out and creating rules that really serve you and your goals. Second is shame post eating. So plan ahead of time. I'll have X at Y time. Again, we don't want to include, or we kind of want to avoid all the shame post eating. Everybody makes mistakes. We have a little bit more than we should have. We should never have shame or guilt towards that, because that's only going to make things worse. And then emotional triggers. So I want you guys to think about enjoying it slowly. Log it if you want, and then move on. We don't want to make anything a bigger deal than it is, because again, that can lead to binging again. That can lead to more guilt, more shame. We don't want any of that. So remember that candy is not the problem. We have to kind of create different rules depending on our goal, depending on our habits, so that we're able to feel and look our best. Pre-game like a pro. So make sure that you guys don't go in empty, physically or mentally. So important to remember that if you guys go into, let's say, the day of Halloween and you're obsessed with candy and you don't eat, you don't plan anything, you're kind of hungry the whole day, then Halloween hits, all the candy comes, and you're on empty, right? Physically and mentally, you're probably tired, you need fuel, and you just go all in, right? That's what we want to avoid. So first and foremost, make sure that you eat protein and fiber ahead of time. Keep your blood sugar stable. That's going to be important for keeping your energy stable and making sure you're not having any dips, crashes, and making sure like you're starving later. It's important to make sure that you are eating protein and fiber ahead of time. Second, don't skip meals to save up. Sets you up to overeat. So a lot of people fall into this mindset like, okay, I'm just going to save all my calories until the end of the night. That is going to lead you to binge eat more than you think, and also probably leave you wanting more of that sugar, wanting more of that salt. So again, don't skip any meals throughout the day. You can make them a little bit smaller if you want and still focus on protein, fiber, but maybe focus on lowering the calories just a tad. You're not starving yourself. You're not going way under, but you might, want to cut down the calories a little bit. That's fine, but don't just skip all your meals and then save up till later. Not a good idea. Lastly is going to be mentally rehearse. So, what situations might challenge me? What do I want to feel like at the end of the night? So, there might be some temptations where it's like, okay, you have 2 bites of the cake, but you're like, okay, I literally want the whole cake now. That might happen, right? What are you going to do in that situation? Are you going to drink lots of water and step away from the table, or are you going to binge eat on the cake? Like, it's your decision on what you want to do. And then also, I would make sure you understand, like, what is that going to make me feel like at the end of the night? How do I want to feel at the end of the night? Self leadership in the moment. So, self trust beats self control. Making sure that you're anchoring in these reminders is so, so important. So, I can enjoy this and still hit my goals. That's a very important statement to understand and remember that, again, you guys are all adults here. All human beings can make their own decisions. So it's important to remember, like, I can still enjoy this piece of candy, or I can still enjoy this sweet, whatever it is, and still hit your goals. You don't have to limit or restrict everything. Second is, I've done harder things than saying no to a Snickers, right? It's really not that serious. And when you kind of put it into perspective like that, like, it's literally a Snickers bar. Chill, right? It's okay. You can have it or you can say no. And you've done a lot harder things than that. Third, not everything that's offered needs to be accepted. This is huge. If you've ever been to Aunt Susie's house and she wants you to try that pie and you feel really bad and then you just say, yes, I'll have it, right? Even though you don't want it. It's okay to say no. It's okay to decline an offer, especially when it comes to like sweets, food, whatever. Trust me, I've been there. I know that people can give you a hard time, especially if like they made it and they want you to have it. Just to be like, no, I have other goals right now, right? It's okay to decline things and you don't have to accept everything that is offered to you. Uh, Next is going to be use the HALT check-in. So, are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Check in with yourself, ask yourself these things, and make sure you're doing other things, not just emotional eating, to solve these things or help you kind of soothe other things. Like, if you are hungry, eat a good balanced meal. If you are angry, chill and figure out a way that you can reduce that stress or reduce that anger. Practical tools to stay aligned. So, remembering that high performance holiday toolkit, that's kind of an easy way to say this. So, first and foremost, hydrate throughout the day. It's important to make sure you're drinking enough water. I would say anywhere from 80 to 120 ounces. If you guys use electrolytes and you're sweating a ton, I would recommend having some of those. Keep protein high, especially dinner. So, if you guys are enjoying a little holiday Halloween party, or you're going trick or treating or whatever that is, make sure you're eating dinner before and you're keeping it high protein. Next is going to be walk before and after events. Even 10 minutes matter. So a lot of people think, oh, it's not going to matter that much, or I have a busy day, I'm not going to walk at all. It's like, no, even 5 minutes works. Even 10 minutes matters. So I want you guys to remember it's important to be moving your body throughout the day, and then use visual cues. Log food in advance, wear a reminder band, phone note. It's important to make sure that you guys are reminding yourselves of like what you need to be doing. Everybody can be a little bit forgetful sometimes. So yeah, even myself. So make sure you're setting timers on your phone. You're logging your food in advance to help you out for the day. If you go off plan, remember that there is no wagon. You did not fall off anything. I caught myself earlier saying that. It's such an easy thing to say, like, I fell off the wagon, right? It's a very popular saying. We need to remember that there is no wagon. You didn't fall off of anything. And if you overate, remember to zoom out, not zoom in. Over the course of the month, if you overate on one day or 3 days, it's not going to matter that much. It's what you do consistently. So get right back to it, right? No punishment, no restriction. It's just data. Look at that day and ask yourself, like, what could I have done differently to kind of help myself next time so that doesn't happen again? How can the next day I just go right back to my plan and just learn from that experience? Again, it's so important to not look at this day and harp over it. That's only going to do you more harm than good. Remember that it's one day, it's not going to do anything. Make sure you're getting right back to it the next day, right back to your scheduled plan and programming. So it's important to remember that, like, who you are currently, if you have a lot of trauma, if you feel like, you're not good enough or whatever the case is, remember that what would the future version of you choose here, right? If you're trying to become her, if you're trying to become him, who, is a badass, is 30 pounds down, shows up like the version of you who, is a CEO mindset or whatever, whoever you want to be, remember that version might choose joy over guilt. Be very fully present and not overthink about food. Say no because they're aligned, not because they're restricted. So be that version now, not after the holidays. Remember that higher version of yourself and step into him or her. Your Halloween success checklist. So run the play, stay in the game. Eat, I don't know what that says, eat protein forward meals, set treat boundaries ahead of time. So if you know you love your treats on Halloween, maybe say, okay, I'm only gonna have 3 pieces, right? I'm only gonna have 4 of my favorite candies or whatever that case is and what that looks like for you. 3, log and track, did you get in your movement? No guilt, just ownership. So remember that this is the game plan. It matters mentally and physically that you're staying on track with this checklist. Remember that if you do end up overeating, if you do end up doing something that you didn't plan, it's okay. Do not have guilt. Just own what you did. It happened and move on, right? How can you be better next time? What happens after? So the real win is the day after Halloween. A lot of people might be hungover. A lot of people might be candy hungover. Whatever the case is, you are different. Make sure that you are getting back to your usual plan. No drama. Recommit with no emotional weight. You don't need to make up for anything. You're always just one aligned choice away from momentum, right? I always tell my clients that the next best decision, what is the next best decision that you can make, right? Maybe you had 5 donuts for breakfast. Okay, cool. For lunch, how can we have a protein packed, fiber packed meal that helps you towards your goals, right? We're not making up for anything. We're not doing anything different. We're just making the next best decision. Final words, okay? You are in control. That's so, so important to remember. The candy doesn't have control over you. The alcohol doesn't have control over you. You are the one that's in control of your goals, of your success, of your lifestyle. So you're not surviving the holidays, you're leading through them. This isn't about willpower, it's about identity. This season can build more confidence if you let it, and then keep your goals in sight, but joy in your heart. I know that sounds cheesy, guys, but remember that your goals are in sight. They're there. But also remember, like, you can have a lot of fun during the season. You can enjoy them. That doesn't mean you have to give up your goals. You got this. All right, guys. So wishing you a happy Halloween. Let's take the scare out of planning. That again is very, very cheesy. If you guys have a hard time around the holidays, if you feel like you're out of control and you don't really know what to do, what to eat, how to treat it, and you need a little bit more in-depth guidance than just this presentation, make sure that you book a call. 15 minutes, we will chat about you, your goals, how I can guide you through the season, and remember that it is totally free. 15 minutes so I can help you learn a little bit more about you and kind of see where you're at. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and click the link below, book a call. I will chat with you guys a little bit later.